Hey everyone, we're going to do some rate of change today. Rate of change is just your slope, so you need to write down this formula that's down here, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, if you don't know it already. So here we go. All right, most of these questions you're going to be utilizing that formula. So question 1 says, in PE class, the students recorded their number of heartbeats after exercising. Below is a chart with the number of heartbeats recorded after 30, 50, and 70 seconds of exercise. What is the rate of change of the data in the heartbeats per minute? So basically a very big deal with this is knowing that if you're given it like this vertical column here, on the left, they're your X values, and on the right, they're your Y values. All right. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. So I could call 30 my X1, 50 my X2, and 70 my X3. Over here on the right, 54, I could call my Y1, 90 is my Y2, and 126 is my Y3. Okay? They're just, those are just subscripts, just labeling the order in which they go in. All right? So in order for us to find the rate of change, I need to find the slope. I'm using these numbers. So my slope formula, I just showed it to you before, so you could look at that. So my slope is y2. So over here, y2 is 90 minus y1, which is 54. We just labeled them. Divided by x2, which is 50, minus x1, which is 30. And again, we could do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. It doesn't matter as long as you're using a term from the first quantity first in the top and the bottom. All right. So we have 90 minus 54 over 50 minus 30. So we have 20 in the bottom, and in the top we have 36. You're going to want to reduce that. Top and bottom, reduce it. Let me see what the answers are looking like over here. Oh, okay. I know what's weird about this. So I'm going to divide this. 36 divided by 20 gives me 1.8. All right, so my answer doesn't match any of these. So I come back up, and I'm like, why doesn't this work? It says, what is the rate of change of the data in heartbeats per minute? This gives me per second, okay? So I know and you know that there are 60 seconds in a minute. So you take the rate of change per second and you convert it into minutes by multiplying by 60. So you take this 1.8 and you multiply it by 60 to get 108. So your answer here is B. All right. So make sure you read the question because I was a little thrown off too. Number 2 is asking which describes the rate of change in the following function. So f of x equals 5x plus 8. Function, this looks an awful lot like y. That's what it's supposed to be y. Y equals mx plus b. And if we're talking about the rate of change here, we're talking about the number in front of x, which is 5. Rate of change, or your slope, is constant, okay? And it's positive. So positive numbers, you say, are increasing. Negative numbers are decreasing. So rate of change is constant. So anytime you see something that says varying, it's not true, okay? And B says increasing for all x of 5. And this is saying that D is saying that the rate of change is 8. Well, the slope is 5, therefore the rate of change is 5. So your answer here is B. Okay. This next question, question 3, says Astrid has a data plan through her cell phone company where she pays $47 a month for 5,000 kilobytes of data and 3 cents for each additional kilobyte over 5,000. To the nearest cent, how much would Astrid need to pay for a data plan if she used 6,067 kilobytes of data? Okay, so what do I know? She pays 47 a month. So, okay, so I know that she pays $47 a month to get 5,000. And we're looking for how much she would need to pay if she used 6,067. I also know that she spends 3 cents for each additional kilobyte over 5,000. So I have to find out how many kilobytes are over 5,000. So if she uses 6,067, I have to subtract 5,000 from that. So she went 1,067 kilobytes over her allotted data. So she pays 3 cents for each one of these. So I have to take 0.03 and multiply that by the amount of kilobytes she went over. And I get 3201. So I'm going to take 3201 and add it to my 47. Okay, because she already pays 47. So that gives me, that's a 0, $79.01. That wasn't too bad. Question 4 says the graph above shows the amount Tina earned W before taxes after working 8 hours. So our hours are our X value and our wages are our Y values. So how much does she make per hour? So another cool thing, I don't know if it's cool, but we could find the rate of change by finding the slope. And another way to think about slope is our rise, how high up or down the graph goes, over our run. So if you pick 2 points on a graph, I'm going to zoom in here. I always pick perfect points. And then we count. So here's one perfect point. And by perfect points, I mean it crosses exactly with the grid. It's easy for us to find our slope or our rate of change. So we do rise. We see how far up we have to go. So we have to go up 10, 20, 30, 40. So our rise is 40 over our run. How far to the right we have to go, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 40 divided by 5. So our rate of change is 8. So she makes $8 an hour. Okay. All right. In this question, we have this horizontal graph. When we're given a horizontal graph, the x's are in the top, y's are in the bottom. But you do the same thing. X1, Y1. Let me move this over. X2, Y2. Okay. And you use these values and you plug them into your formula. So we have 72 minus 60 over 1.5, oops, minus 1 1/4. Which gives us 72 minus 60 is 12 over 1.5 minus 1 1/4, which is 1/4. When you divide those two, you get 48. So 1 inch is 48 miles. Over here, we're looking for which statement is correct. So basically, since we're talking about rate of change, we're talking about the slope. And the slope, when we're given an equation, is the number in front of the variable. So the number in front of the variable is h, and the number in front of it is positive 4. So if a number is positive, it doesn't usually, it means that it's increasing. Okay, so we have to see where it says that it's increasing by 4. And I found it right down here in choice D. Okay, it's the only one that talks about our slope, which is 4, and about it increasing. All right. Same thing here. So basically, to see if we have anything like 9 is the same kind of thing. So I think I covered kind of the gist of it. If you have any questions, please send me an email or a message somehow. Get in contact with me and I'll help you out.